Brought to you by Thomas Allgaier and Frennis. This edition highlights key LinkedIn posts on next-gen vehicle intelligence in weeks 45 and 46. Frennis supports automotive enterprises and consultancies with market and competitive intelligence, decoding disruptive technologies, customer needs, regulatory change, and competitive moves so product teams and strategy leaders don't just react, but shape the future of mobility. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, our mission is pretty straightforward. We're diving into the intelligence we've gathered from the industry's front lines, specifically top insights on next-gen vehicles from LinkedIn in weeks 45 and 46. And if there's one big message, it's that the whole conversation has really shifted.
It really has. It's moved from just vision to hard, measurable execution.
For SDVs, for autonomy, for everything.
Exactly. We're seeing this maturation across the whole ecosystem. It's no longer a debate about if we should have software-defined architectures. Now it's all about how. How do you deploy them reliably, cost-effectively, and at scale? And we saw so much content confirming that these semiconductor-centric designs are now just the operating reality. So we've clustered everything into the 5 big transformation themes we saw.
Okay, let's jump in. Theme 1. SDV architectures. This is really the core engine, isn't it? Shifting value away from hardware refresh cycles
to continuously updated software and services.
Yeah.
The car as an evolving platform.
And what's so interesting is how that vision of a single monolithic supercomputer has changed.
No, it's completely evolved. It's become this much more practical, federated reality. Henrique Manguino broke this down really well. You need these small, hyper-reliable, deterministic safety controllers.
The ASIL C or D stuff.
The ASIL C, ASIL D stuff, totally isolated. Then you have your big Linux or QNX high-performance computers doing the heavy lifting for AI and data fusion. And then, Android or something similar just for the UX.
So it's not just one chip doing everything. It's about strategic segregation. You have to keep those safety islands separate.
Precisely. And the silicon guys are designing for this. You see chips like Qualcomm's Snapdragon RideFlex or ARM's Xena CSS. They keep those dedicated safety islands, often running good old AUTOSAR classic, physically and logically separate from Linux or Android, even on the same piece of silicon.
It's the only way to do it, right? To balance safety with flexibility.
It's the necessary compromise.
But that level of complexity, managing multiple OEs, continuous updates, that brings us to the big challenge.
Yeah.
How do you stop costs just spiraling out of control?
That's the million-dollar question for OEMs. And it's why the news from Remco Timmer and Mike Nefkins was so important. This new SDV maturity framework from HERE and Omdia.
The first of its kind.
Yeah, and it's vital. It gives OEMs a structured way to actually benchmark their progress so they can figure out where to put those massive investments.
But the architecture itself doesn't sell cars. I love the perspective from Gregor Stanglein on this. He said the industry has to stop selling architecture and start solving problems.
Absolutely. Think about the end user. A fleet operator doesn't care about a zonal architecture. They care about savings per mile.
Or better route planning.
Exactly. Or a driver just wants to find a parking spot instantly. If the complexity is invisible and the benefit is obvious, then the architecture is doing its job.
Which leads to this interesting paradox Dr. Gabriel Seiberth brought up. By abstracting the hardware to speed things up, you actually create a new bottleneck, time.
It's a huge strategic tension. If you standardize your hardware too early to enable your software, that software's innovation is then stuck. It's limited by the pace of the hardware.
So you're trapped by your own standard.
It's a speed trap, yeah. You're waiting for the next hardware generation before your software can take the next leap.
All that architectural complexity, it means nothing if people don't trust the system. Let's shift to theme 2, autonomous functions, safety, and trust. Felice Fortino made this great point that AI is the answer to building that trust at scale.
For everything. For EVs, fighting range anxiety, and for AVs, guaranteeing reliable decisions.
So how are they building that trust?
It's about completely rethinking validation. Helen Yu detailed NVIDIA's approach, which they call HALERS. It's this 3-pillar system for safety. You use DGX for the heavy AI development.
Oh, right.
Then you use Omniverse and Cosmos for photorealistic simulation of billions of edge cases. And finally, you deploy on the vehicle with the modular redundancy of their Drive AGX hardware.
And Laura Major from Motional had a great take on this. She framed their training curriculum like coaching athletes.
It's a beautiful metaphor. It's not about having the most data. It's about having a rigorous curriculum to find and use the right data to train your models effectively.
We're also seeing these features just becoming mainstream now.
Yeah.
Jim Charlie announced Ford Blue Cruise is expanding across Europe.
That's huge. Hands-free highway driving is becoming a standard expectation.
And it's not just for high-end EVs anymore. Fedra Ribeiro highlighted how Bosch is bringing high-performance Navigate on autopilot to ICE vehicles, like the GE-Allied Lynk & Co. 03.
That's a key point. These high-level features are now powertrain agnostic. That's the path to mass adoption.
And the economic scaling is really happening in logistics first.
For sure. Hugo Rauch shared that Einride went public via SPAC at a $1.8 billion valuation. That shows real commercial traction. And we also saw that Level 4 autonomous delivery pilot in Germany with REWE and LOXO, which Dominique Pierre-Lacher posted about.
Okay, let's move on. Theme 3. In-car OS and the software stack. Prasanth Gorvahala called this a major strategic battleground.
It really is. The split is between OEMs building their own thing, like Mercedes-Benz with MB.OS.
Which Marcus Schaefer described.
Exactly. A huge comprehensive platform. And then everyone else who is standardizing on Android Automotive.
And these OEs are driving some wild innovation in the digital experience.
Oh, absolutely. Catherine Renz shared how BMW is integrating Amazon's next-gen Alexa, which is using over 70 large language models. This isn't just a voice assistant anymore. It's trying to be a genuine, context-aware, conversational partner.
And we saw a fantastic example of the underlying SDV architecture, enabling a really cool feature, Google Maps getting live lane guidance on the Polestar 4.
Yeah, Nukul Segal and Jürgen Behrens explain this. It's so clever. The car uses its existing ADAS camera and local AI to analyze the lane markings in real time.
And feeds that video right back to the map interface.
Seamlessly. It's a perfect example of sensor fusion for the user experience.
But that kind of integration only works because the deep engineering stack allows it.
That's the crucial point Amel Kdheri made. The success of an SDV still depends more on deep software engineering, managing AUTOSAR, Linux, Yocto, than on abstract AI. The embedded software defines the limits of the whole system.
So how does that foundational engineering actually connect to these high-level features?
It's all about abstraction. Ahmed Munir broke down why those AUTOSAR layers matter. You've got the MCAL abstracting the chip, the ECL abstracting the ECU hardware.
And the service layer abstracting the system complexity.
Right. Those layers are what let the Google Maps feature grab sensor data without needing to know the specific details of the camera hardware it's talking to.
And that need for shared infrastructure is driving huge collaboration.
It is. The news from Dr. Moritz Neukirchner and Senthil Kumar Sivanyanam that Qualcomm joined the Eclipse S-Core community is significant. It's a shared, safety-aligned middleware, so everyone doesn't have to build the same foundational plumbing from scratch.
That takes us directly into theme 4, semiconductors and EE architecture.
Yeah, Augustin Friedel positions semiconductor strategy as the critical lever now for differentiation, cost, and performance. And when you see vendors like NVIDIA with gross margins around 70%,
it changes the whole calculation for an OEM.
It completely does. It's driving players like Tesla, XPeng, and NIO toward pure in-house chip design to capture that value and control their own destiny.
But isn't that a massive risk? Aren't you just replacing a vendor bottleneck with an internal R&D bottleneck that costs billions?
It is a colossal risk, but they see it as necessary to get that absolute performance edge. And Sean Sehe explained why. The new bottleneck isn't just raw compute power, it's memory bandwidth. An autonomous development car generates terabytes of data. Moving that data fast enough for safe, real-time decisions, using things like Micron's LPDDR5X DRAM.
Wow.
That is the new horsepower. And you need custom silicon to solve that.
So we're seeing this rapid hardware convergence. Dr. Matthias Lasch detailed how Infineon is focusing on open architectures like RISC-V and making Automotive Ethernet the backbone.
And supply chain resilience is also driving strategy. We heard from Dr. Ramoon Ojewi about Samsung's push for chiplets.
Like Lego blocks for chips.
Exactly. It's a modular architecture. It's transformative because it allows for cost-effective customization, faster time to market, and it makes the supply chain way more resilient than these big monolithic designs.
Okay, finally, let's get to theme 5. Strategy, geopolitics, and the China factor. Patrick Collar's overview was a stark reminder of China's scale.
Oh, it's a global template now. Top vehicle exporter, largest NEV producer, and Chinese brands have 55% of their own domestic market. That scale is reshaping everything.
And it creates immediate geopolitical tension around connectivity.
A huge amount. Gonzalo Martinez de Zagra and Michael Barnard raised concerns in Europe after those Chinese-made electric buses were found with remote access, including a remote halt feature.
And as Valentin Weber pointed out, Remote access is pretty standard, but this is different.
It's different because it forces Europe to confront a severe sovereignty risk. What happens when your critical national infrastructure relies on a foreign software stack?
And China is no longer just catching up. Özgür and Nurettin Puskul highlighted how their ADAS ecosystem has gone from import-reliant to self-sustaining dominance.
Totally. They're leading in core domains like LiDAR with Huawei and Hesai, and in advanced automated parking, the whole definition of a Tier 1 is being rewritten over there.
And this global complexity forces a really tough trade-off at the engineering level.
It does. Karthik and Rajan talked about this conflict between functional safety, ISO 262622, and cybersecurity, ISO 21434. Safety wants redundancy. Security wants a smaller attack surface. With geopolitics in the mix, you have to make structured architectural trade-offs and not just patch things later.
So the takeaway for Europe from Kirsten Heinecke and Professor Kambis Vishgini is basically a call for urgency and partnership.
That's it. More cross-company, cross-border collaboration to close these technology gaps before it's too late.
So if we look across all 5 themes, the message is clear.
It's all about execution. The battles for supply chain, for performance, for sovereignty, they're being fought and won right now in the software layer and in the silicon strategy.
And that focus brings us to our final thought. Marcus Redstedt put it so well. The future of mobility, of safety, of driving pleasure, it's not being decided on an assembly line. It's being decided in a Git repository.
Everything is code.
Everything is code, from architecture to compliance to AI models. He says it's the new DNA of the industry, and it's really the only way to manage all this complexity we've just been talking about. So the question for you, as you look at this new global benchmark, is this. What critical processes in your own organization, be it architecture, testing, compliance, still rely on static documents, on manual steps, on human interpretation? And maybe more importantly, how quickly can you shift all of that into deployable code to meet this new high-velocity standard being set around the world? If you enjoyed this deep dive, new editions drop every 2 weeks. Also check out our other editions on electrification and battery technology, future mobility and market evolution, and commercial fleet insights. Thank you for joining us, and remember to subscribe.